All right, as we all get settled in, just going to tell you a little bit about today, introduce our incredible speaker. So this is one of our Thrive Wellness Wednesday sessions. These happen once every other month. Today's session is going to be focused around gratitude, the practice of gratitude, and kind of the benefits that come with that, some resources and exercises for us to incorporate, hopefully, into more of a daily practice. And we have Alyssa Stanford today, who's from the San Mateo County Wellness Team. And she's going to be running through some of these practices and giving us just a little bit more information and background about gratitude and how to take care of your overall well-being. And so without further ado, I will hand it over to Alyssa. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. So before I get started, maybe I'm a familiar face for some of you if you've been coming to the last few, I want to say sessions, but I guess they're kind of more meetings. Before I give you this whole long explanation about the many benefits of gratitude, are any of you familiar with how powerful practicing gratitude for a couple of minutes per day can be for your mental and physical health? You can use the little, I think there's like hands up or some sort of emojis that you can put on your, or thumbs up, thank you. So we've got 1, 2, just 2? Okay, you're gonna get the whole thing. You're getting the whole thing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see, I think it's this one. Okay, so, oops, wrong one. Here we go. Okay. Can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. I'm not great at sharing my screen, and for some reason it takes up both my monitors and now I can't see any of you. So you'll probably have to unmute and yell at me if I ask you any questions. Sorry. Okay. So to get us kind of in an attitude of gratitude, I want us to do a little exercise called 3 Good Things. And I'm going to talk to you about the benefits that you experienced right after doing that super short activity. After that, we're going to do a loving kindness meditation. It's 15 minutes, but every minute of it is special. And so it's going to fly by. Then we have our health coach, Nicole Jackson. She's been at the county for a few years, but before that, she's worked for some big names like Johnson & Johnson. She's been a health coach and an exercise physiologist for a long time. And she's got some information she's going to share out with us about trying to cultivate positivity. Then we're going to do some thank you cards together. And if you have time today, I would love to take you on a mindful walk. So toward the end of our meeting and this presentation, if you have the ability to transfer this Zoom meeting to an iPad or a phone to go for a walk together, that would be great. So before I tell you about all the incredible benefits, let's go ahead and do a thing. I would like you to drop into the chat 3 good things that happened to you today or this week. If you can't think of 3 good things that have already happened today, then think back on the last few days. And these can be really small. It doesn't have to be a promotion or some really significant event in your life. It could be something as simple as having a really good cup of coffee. It could be as simple as getting a smile from someone during your commute or when you walked into work. It could be as simple as interacting with one of your favorite things. So I'm kind of like a plant person and I have dogs. And so for me, getting to interact with the plants or the dogs is something that I consider to be a good thing in my day or my week. So think really, really small if nothing large has happened recently. Okay, so we've got a couple responses. I'll give you all a few more minutes. 3 good things.
While folks are adding to the chat, I'll just say mine out loud. So I had a really yummy lunch today, and I had an opportunity to sleep in a little bit later than normal. And then also just general kind of appreciation for my partner. Been feeling that a lot the last couple of days.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm seeing some things about food in the chat. So we've got ice cream, having dinner with a favorite relative. I'm also seeing things about working out. So we've got new workout clothes. That's always a fun find. We've got going for a walk and feeling energized afterward, listening to the radio. So definitely all feel good things. I think, music, exercise, connecting with our favorite people, getting more organized. Love that. A nice cup of tea can be really simple. I'm going to wait for a few more people. I really want you to do the thing. We have to do this exercise together to talk about how to implement it into our daily life and what it's going to do for us. So let me give you a couple more minutes. And one thing I want to acknowledge is, this is kind of a tough time to be alive. There's so much going on with the pandemic and other things that our bodies are primed to look out for the bad things. We are a species that is built for survival. So our mind and our body are constantly looking out for threats. And it's much easier for us to hold on to the bad things that happen. That's how we're programmed. We're trying to learn from the bad things so we can anticipate them better next time, or we can avoid them. And so really to cultivate an attitude of gratitude or to change our outlook, because our default outlook is threat. What's wrong? Everything's wrong all the time is what, sometimes what it can feel like. But we want to switch that to what's right, what's going well, what can we appreciate? Even in the darkest of times, what's the little bit of light happening in this moment? And focusing on that can bring us a lot of mental and physical health benefits. So you have to be patient with yourself. If you're having a hard time thinking of 3 good things, that's totally normal. That's how we're built. Okay, so I'm seeing walks, I'm seeing food. I don't know about you, but I get really excited about food. So these are totally speaking my language right now. I'm seeing animals, friends and family. Awesome. A good book, going to the beach. Yes. The ocean is just, for me, such a powerful force. It really helps kind of reset me. Made it on time for work. Yes, we should totally celebrate that. That is hard to do these days. Yeah. Okay. So we've got a good group, but I know we have more people today that have put it in the chat. So again, being patient with yourself and just acknowledging it is difficult to find the good. That's how we're programmed. So why do we want to turn this into a practice? Why do we want to have a sticky notes or a journal or maybe even an app on your phone where we can record 3 good things every single day for just a couple minutes? We are able to retrain our brain. We can change our brain chemistry. There's so much research around the things that we're sort of stuck with genetically and the things that are pliable, the things that we have more control over than we ever thought before. And what we're finding is most things, even, our mood and certain things like depression, can be managed, reversed, or prevented with certain lifestyle changes. And one of the lifestyle changes is really practicing gratitude. So it's hard to do when you first wake up in the morning, especially if you're someone who's not getting enough sleep. And we've talked about resilience before and how important it is to get enough sleep and to exercise and eat well and manage our stress and all of that. So I recommend not doing this when you first wake up, but doing it right before bed when you can kind of reflect on your whole day, your personal day, your work day. And then today, as we did, if we're not finding anything with the day, kind of reflecting on the week. But if we're able to write down 3 good things that happened to us, and that's our last impression of our day or our week before we go to bed, then we can, over time, it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, we can change our outlook. And instead of our bodies designed to look out for all of the threats and all the bad things that are happening, we can have a mindset, a positive outlook that is constantly looking for the good things that are happening. And this is going to change everything from the way you view past events in your life to the way you conduct yourself in social interactions, the way you talk, the way that you behave. It is transforming. It will change your entire life once you get into the practice of an attitude of gratitude. So when we're thinking about conflicts, either at work and in our personal life, instead of kind of focusing on the negative aspects, like the problems that we're trying to fix, going into it and looking at what you're bringing into the conflict resolution that's positive, like the foundation, the good foundations that are already there, the history of the relationship that's good, all sort of good aspects tends to bring about a more positive and longer lasting result than going into the conflict mediation, thinking about all the bad parts. And that's going to happen again in every aspect of life. So if at all possible, I highly recommend grabbing a piece of paper or opening an app on your phone if you're trying to save paper, or maybe having a whiteboard, something that's reusable, and writing out 3 good things every single night before you go to bed. The first time you do it, you might kind of be like, this was great for a second. Why am I doing this? The second time, the third time. But after a couple of weeks, you're going to start to really feel the benefits of focusing on the positive instead of the negative. And for those of us that have a really difficult time falling asleep because of cyclical thoughts, racing thoughts, for those of us that, just kind of focus on things we could have done differently, things we could have said differently, and, just all of the stressors that we may be dealing with, work, finances, caregiver responsibilities, issues happening in the world. This can really help you fall asleep and stay asleep. Okay. Any questions about this very specific exercise called 3 Good Things? And if you go to the Positivity Center, which it's one of the Claremont resources that we've pushed out before, it's a partnership with UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center. You go to the Positivity Center, there's lots more information about 3 Good Things. I believe the Greater Good Science Center also has information about 3 Good Things. Okay. So we've got it in the back of our minds that after today's meeting, we are going to start incorporating 3 good things into our bedtime routine. And we're going to start changing our outlook slowly over time, retraining our brain, changing our brain chemistry, changing our default settings. Now we're going to go ahead and go into a meditation and continue to work on creating a very certain feel. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, let me know if everyone can hear. I think I have my audio settings right.
Allow yourself to get comfortable. Allow yourself to get comfortable. Relax your shoulders. Relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. You can be seated or lying down for this meditation. Today we'll be exploring metta, or loving kindness. Through this metta meditation, we'll be exploring the cultivation of feelings of compassion, feelings of loving kindness for yourself and for others. So allow yourself to relax and notice how your breath feels right now. Simply watch your breath. Notice the texture of your breathing. Notice the rate of your breathing. Notice the depth of your breathing. There's no need to change it. Simply observe. And bring your awareness to your chest, to your heart. Place your awareness there as you continue to watch your breath. Notice what it feels like to breathe into your chest, to breathe into your heart. Simply place all of your awareness right there in the center of your chest. Now slowly and silently, repeat this phrase in your mind. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be comfortable and at peace. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be comfortable and at peace. Continue to repeat these words in your mind and in your heart. Notice any subtle changes that occur in how you feel. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be comfortable and at peace. Continue to breathe into your heart. Continue to repeat those words. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be comfortable and at peace. Now bring into your awareness a person who you love dearly. Notice who comes to mind. And keeping an image of this person in your mind's eye, silently repeat these words. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. Notice how you feel in your chest as you continue repeating those words. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. And bring into your mind more of your loved ones, offering them that same message, that same prayer. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. Notice how you feel right now. Bring into your awareness people who you would consider acquaintances. Bring their image into your mind's eye. And again, repeat these words. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. Notice how you feel as you extend loving kindness to acquaintances. Think of someone you have conflict with. Picture this person in your mind's eye. And see if you can offer this person the same loving kindness that you've offered to others. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. Notice how this feels to offer feelings of loving kindness to someone with whom you have conflict. Let's expand this feeling another step further. Picture the entire human race, male and female, all nations, all cultures, all races, all colors of skin, all sexual orientations, all ages, all heights and weights, all people, all human beings. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be comfortable and at peace. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be comfortable and at peace. Notice how you feel in your heart right now. Notice what is present for you. Spend the next few moments feeling this, noticing this, simply experiencing this feeling right here. Continue to breathe into your heart. Continue to focus your awareness right there in the center of your chest. I invite you to open your eyes, carrying this feeling of loving kindness within you. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Notice how you feel in your body right now. Notice what's present. Carry this feeling of loving kindness with you. Carry this feeling of loving kindness as you interact with others today. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be comfortable and at peace. Blessings.
Okay, well, I don't know about you all, but I just feel so ooey gooey now. I just feel lovely. How are we feeling, everyone? Did that do anything for you?
I feel rested, and I appreciate that.
Great, yay. So, one of the things about practicing gratitude, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it's one of my most favorite examples. So, when we're practicing gratitude, I think I told you it helps you become more resilient to stress. It helps you with relationships. It helps you with communication. It helps you with a positive outlook. It helps combat things like depression and anxiety. So it basically helps us experience more positive emotions on a more regular basis, and that helps change our brain chemistry. So when we're thinking about our default outlook, let's say we're stuck in traffic. Now, I don't know about you, but I have some friends and family that are not very nice drivers. And if somebody cuts them off or someone's driving, they think too slow in the fast lane or in another lane, there's some sort of expletive that comes out of their mouth. And I always turn to them and I go, hey, why are you making that assumption about that person? Oh, well, they're a bad driver. Wait a second. We don't know anything about this person. We cannot make any assumptions about who's good or bad when we're on the road. And when our default state is one of practicing gratitude and positivity, it's much easier to be kind, and it's much easier to be patient and to form more positive relationships. So when you're on the freeway, you can think to yourself, if someone cuts you off, we have two options, right? We get angry, we can make assumptions, and we can let it ruin our day, or we can sit back and say, I hope they're okay. Just like in this loving kindness meditation, I hope they're well. I hope they get to wherever they're going, you know, in a timely fashion. Maybe someone's giving birth in the seat next to them. Maybe they just got a phone call that someone is passing and they need to affect our morning and give us a really bad morning. So the more we're kind of like focusing on the positive and the things that we're grateful for, the more it's going to carry over into so many different scenarios where we tend to focus on the bad instead of the good. So for me, the attitude of gratitude and lots of other strategies and lots of therapy has helped tremendously with this kind of default state of always assuming the best in people and in the various scenarios that we're entering. And it really does help you with empathy and patience. Now, I know this group, you all sort of are just empathetic people. You're good people. You're in a field where that's probably why you were drawn to it. But as our day-to-day job and personal lives kind of suck a lot of that energy out of us, the practicing of gratitude can kind of refill that bucket, refill that cup. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Nicole, and I believe her Cultivating Positivity presentation is usually around 45 or 60 minutes. We'll probably do an abbreviated one, but let's see how much good information she can throw
about
out.
35 minutes, you know.
35, okay.
So if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Probably helps turn on my video. Let's see.
So Nicole, I did let everybody know that you are a health coach. You've been one for a long time, that you've worked for some big brands. Do you want to share anything else about yourself?
Oh, you did me a pretty good justice. So thank you for that. No, I mean, yeah, I love what I do. I've been doing it for at least, I don't know, 15 years now, a little more. So, you know, love working with the county, love working with people that work with people. Very appreciative of you guys and everything that you do. Okay, give me 1 second while I attempt to share my screen slideshow. Play. Sorry, guys. I always have a hard time with this. Oh my goodness.
I did the same thing earlier, Nicole.
You know, it's hard because this bar is right on top. And so where I need to share these slides, it's, give me a second. Okay, share. Okay, you know what? It's because we're in full screen. No, view, full screen, share screen, share. Now I just gotta hit play. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. I know everyone's over there like, what is she doing? But I'm gonna be positive. I'm positive that I can share, that I can play my slide. There we go. All right, just give me a minute. My computer's slow. Also, my Wi-Fi is kind of going in and out. So if I disappear, bear with me. I'm just going to probably turn on my hotspot and jump right back on. Okay.
Someone yesterday recommended to me that to turn off my camera. Apparently that helps with bandwidth.
Oh no, you're gonna see this face. But if I start to break up, go ahead and just holler at me and I will pop the camera off. All right, so you guys, welcome to Cultivating Positivity. Again, my name is Nicole Jackson. I'm a health coach and wellness educator for the county. I've been at the county 3 years, in this position 3 years this month. So kudos. And let's get started. So feel free, I will man the chat. So if you have any questions, comments, I will be kind of looking around in there. And Alyssa, thank you so much. And Ariana, I agree with you, a little bit sleepy and relaxed, but that was great. So thank you for that. So we kind of just did that exercise, but if you have a piece of paper that we're gonna jot down a few notes a little bit later. But until then, we're going to get right into it. This class is called Cultivating Positivity. So if this class becomes too positive for you, too bad, you got to sit through it. It'll be about 30 minutes, I promise. And we're accepting good vibes only. So we're going to try to cultivate that space. So I want to start off with the definition of cultivating. It is developing, curating, or acquiring a skill. And that skill today is going to be positivity. And so we're just going to go over some ways that we can do that. We're going to talk about it, act it out, become more appreciative, focus on the present, seek positive influences, fill your glass, share positivity with others, and treat yourself kindly. So there's nothing left to it but to do it. So let's get right into it. All right. So let's talk about it. Step one, act like a positive person. I know someone's eyes just rolled and it's all good. I'm going to explain it. So there are studies that show that simply behaving like a positive person can shape your attitude and slowly change the way you see the world, right? Now, granted, this won't be overnight, but change is possible and persistence does pay off. All right. So some ways you can do that. Force a smile. I know, you're like, I don't want to smile, and that's fine, but just smile anyway. I don't want to smile anyway. Okay, so continue to force that smile. Nothing about it sounds fun. You know, maybe when you're a kid, your mom's like, smile, and you're like, but I don't want to, but it can lift your spirits, right? So simply forcing a smile repeatedly can lift your mood. So when you're unmasked, try applying that smile to that beautiful face of yours. You know, smile at neighbors, smile at people on the street, especially now that we don't have our masks on. I think a lot of times, you know, we've stopped smiling because nobody can see our face, right? We're kind of unmasked now for the most part. So, you know, if you can, try to start smiling again. And if you are masked, the great Tyra Banks said it best. SMIZE, which is smile with your eyes. Okay, America's Next Top Model. You know it. You loved it. You guys all watched it. The next tip is fake it till you make it. So simply acting like a confident person can actually begin to transform your self-esteem. So the idea is imitating confidence, competence, and keeping an optimistic mindset can eventually cause a person to realize that they actually already possess those qualities in real life. And so let's be honest, this is not a new skill. We've all faked it till we make it, right? Your job, you just started a new position. You don't know what you're doing, but it's okay. You fake it till you make it, right? Parenting, maybe your first time parent. Oh my gosh, it's a baby, right? What about the baby? Okay, you fake it till you make it, right? Maybe you're not a cook, but you get in the kitchen and pretend like one. So again, we're constantly faking it till we make it. So why not add one more item to that list, right? Eliminate negative adjectives. And so this is a hard one because half of you are probably like, what's an adjective? And I was too, but you're not alone. So quick English lesson. An adjective is a word or phrase that is added to describe a noun. Okay, so a word or phrase that is added to describe a noun. Now, if you don't know what a noun is, I can't help you. I'm just kidding, I can. It's a person, it's a place, it's a thing, right? So again, when you're talking about that noun, right, whether it's something or some place, a person or a place or a thing, try not to describe it in a negative light. Maybe pull the positives from that noun and challenge yourself to only talk about those, right? So, which kind of brings me to my next point is have a wonderful day. So somebody says, you know, how was your day today? Oh, I can tell you about traffic. I can tell you about me waking up late. I can tell you about me stubbing my toe and losing my toenail. It's a whole nother story. We'll save it for another time. Or I can tell you about this amazing breakfast I had. I can tell you about my awesome workout. I can tell you that, you know, I took the scenic route, the 280, and it was beautiful. And, you know, I saw the fog rolling in and a couple of redwoods, right? So again, I get to determine how I describe my day. And so when I say have a wonderful day, you know, again, it's easier said than done, but even if it might not be the best day, tell yourself you're having a wonderful day. And then speaking that good about what's going on in your day thus far, or having that conversation with others can also start to create that positivity. And so also bonding over the good and not the bad. So this is especially true when it comes to work, right? It's super, super easy to complain about something or someone at work, right? And so, it's easier to bond over the negative than the positive, but let's try to bond over the positive, right? So again, just keeping that in mind. And then also, if you find yourself kind of complaining often, like maybe each and every time you talk about work, or you talk about that coworker, or you talk about that project, you're kind of complaining. So there's always a healthy balance of complaining, right? Because it helps us get things off our chest, but take a step back and reevaluate, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be the one constantly complaining, constantly putting out that bad energy, right? Because then you're the person in the office where it's like, oh, here comes Kathy. She's just going to start complaining again. Or being a Krabby Patty, right? And so sometimes, we don't need that constant energy, especially with what Alyssa said, with everything going on in the world today. So again, and then lastly, try to surround yourself with positive images or motivational objects, or just things that make you feel good, right? If you're in your work environment, you're in your office for 8-9 hours a day, maybe a few pictures or something that invokes those good memories. Maybe if you're at home, maybe you brighten up your accent wall or something, right? So just kind of making it a warmer, happier environment. Maybe you hang a vision board, right? Or like Alyssa said, writing down those good things on a board and just looking at them throughout the day. So regardless, you want to make sure that whatever environment you're spending majority of your time in, which, for us, it's at least 8 hours at work, right? And that's with you guys, I'm sure it's probably more. So again, just seeing if you can brighten up and create a space that motivates you and inspires you. So again, something to think about, and it can be quick, easy fixes, and just kind of play with things, right? Maybe you place something, a picture, in your desk. You don't want it cluttered, but you view, oh, that picture's not right there. Find a space where it works for you. Okay, and then next, moving on. Hopefully I'm not frozen. Become more appreciative, right? So just dedicating a few minutes of your day each day to deliberately cultivating appreciation, which is what Alyssa was speaking about earlier, can in turn improve your overall mindset. And so to do this, I highly recommend keeping a record of things that you appreciate about your day. Maybe you don't have to wait till the end of the day, but you can do it throughout the day. Keep a little notepad on your phone. This motivated me today, or this was a great experience I had today, right? I had a pleasant conversation, enjoyed a tasty meal. I know we were talking about food earlier, and I'm bored. I'm a little hungry. Maybe it was, again, a success at work, just something that made you feel grateful. But regardless, gratitude journaling can help people sleep better, which we talked about, even doing it before bed, lower stress, and improve interpersonal relationships, right? So who doesn't want that? So I know we kind of did this earlier. I would say jot down 3 things that happened throughout your day thus far that you're appreciative of, but we kind of already did that. So maybe you just remembered something from Alyssa's presentation and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to, share that. So if you want to share any additional things that maybe you thought of in the chat or unmute that made you feel more appreciative, feel free. But again, it's always good to share these things, even throughout the day. When you get home, you go home to your partner or whoever, your family, and you're like, how was your day? You could tell me about the traffic, about the stubbing of your toe, or you can pop open that notebook or that notepad and be like, oh, my day was actually really great. A, B, C, D. So again, just something to think about to help cultivate that appreciation. All right. So does anybody have anything that they want to share that maybe they forgot? No pressure. I know we kind of took some time doing that. Okay. Next, focus on the present. So focusing on the present is extremely important. And again, something easier said than done. So right now, what are we doing? And you can be totally honest. Are you like really tuned in watching me and listening to me? Or are you reading your emails? And it's fine. I'm not here to call anybody out. But who's reading their emails? Or maybe who is thinking about what they're going to cook tonight? Who's thinking about maybe, do I go to the gym? Do I not? Who's thinking about, crap, I got to fight traffic? Let's see. Honesty is the best policy. Okay, so Judah was enjoying a photo of her friends at a ballpark today. That's okay. Yeah, so good. As long as it's nice and positive. So regardless, living in the present, is important, because if you're thinking about, maybe you're dwelling in the past, right? If you're living with one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you're not really in the present, right? So dwelling in the past is where a person can tend to spend time thinking, shoot, I should have, I would have, I could have, if I could do it differently, but we can't, right? And when you spend time in the future, you're constantly dwelling on maybe new potential problems or outcomes that could happen, but they haven't happened yet, right? So again, the idea is to focus on the present, and some ways to do that is starting by setting aside some time to focus on just your breathing, right? To clear your mind. So even if your schedule's hectic and you're like, and I'm like, oh, take 5 minutes. You're like, I don't have 5 minutes. Jump in your schedule, maybe block off just a little bit of time for you, and try, doing your deep breathing then, right? And should you get that 5 minutes in your schedule, consider disconnecting for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, right? We have our phones, we know they go off all the time, but maybe you close your emails. Maybe you turn your phone on airplane mode for those 5 minutes so you can truly have that time, right? So disconnecting for even just a little bit to help you, get your mind to the present, right? And then notice the little things, right? So again, maybe you can step outside, sit on the bench, feel the sun on your skin, feel the breeze in your hair. Maybe you slide under some nice soft bed sheets. Your cat or dog comes and sits on your lap and curls up, and you're just being present in that moment, right? Or maybe you're mindfully enjoying an apple. Okay, a healthy snack. Okay, any snack, a tasty treat. Why not? Let's go crazy. And lastly, if you can participate in a mindfulness activity, what we just did was great. Maybe it could be some type of guided meditation if meditation isn't your jam. But whatever it is, make sure that you're focused on being intensely aware of what you're sensing in the moment, what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. So whatever activity that is that allows you to really be in the moment, feeling, feeling your feelings, right? You're intensely aware of your sensations without judgment or interpretation, right? So if you're sitting across from your coworker and then you peek through your eye and they're staring at you, maybe that's not the place to do it. All right. So some things to consider. Does anybody have any questions for right now as we move on? Okay. So this slide is my favorite and most important slide. So if you're not in the moment, come join me for just a second. So remember when we said in slide 1, act like a positive person, right? So it's extremely hard to stay positive if you're surrounded by people who complain, criticize, and constantly see the worst in every situation. And ooh, I'm going to get in trouble, but these people, them. They complain nonstop. You see them call. I always call it my friend. She lives in a different state, but you see them call and it's just like, this is them. Do I answer? Do I not? Right? Because it's going to be negative and it's going to be consistent, right? They're going to be in your ear. They're going to sit up, taking up your valuable time to complain, right? And that's fine if they do, but it has to be limited, right? So if you think of your last interaction with that person, how did it make you feel? Right? So if you think about that person that sucks your energy and just complains, right? How did you feel when you left that interaction, right? Did you feel drained? Did you feel tired? Or even worse, did you feel a little negative yourself? If you were a little bit on the negative side versus when you went into that conversation, chances are you did. And why is this? It's because negative attitudes are infectious. They're infectious. So keep that in mind when that person reaches out to you, right? Or maybe you are that person, whether you're the receiver or the disseminator, you want to make sure that you have a healthy balance. So because of that, you want to choose the people you surround yourself with wisely. You want to spend time with people who are going to be energetic, right? They're going to be optimistic. And they're going to be supportive, right? So I know that sounds like a good idea, but how, right? We got to find those people. And so how do we find those people? Maybe we can attract those people. So maybe just starting with like visualization, right? Have you guys heard of the law the secret, right? The law of attraction, essentially. So maybe start with visualization, right? What does that person or group of people look like? What type of energy do you want to receive from those people, right? So it's hard, and you guys are in healthcare, and so it's hard when you're constantly taking care of other people, right? And I promise you, your profession spills over into your personal lives, and people probably come to you to unload, right? To seek help from you. And so you're constantly giving all day at work, right? Now you go home and you're constantly giving at home. So when do you get time for you? So you got to figure out those friends or family or those people who you walk away from that situation, from that interaction, and you feel energized, you feel positive, you feel kind of ready to go and re-energize. So again, check yourself too, because remember, we typically attract what we put out there sometimes. So if we're constantly a little bit on the negative side, then typically that might be the type of person that we start to draw as well, right? So there's people who suck your energy and there's people who adapt to your energy. And then evaluate your surroundings. Where are you meeting these people at? Is it something that, you have in common? Maybe you like to read and you are at book club or something like that. So either way, consider the environment in which you're meeting these people. And I love this one. Give compliments. Give a compliment. So let's see, give a compliment. Elsa, I love your name. Obviously it also has to do with Frozen, but I think that's a great name. I'm a Frozen fan. So again, maybe give a compliment, to a coworker. This is something you can do immediately, right? Everyone likes to receive a compliment. Because at the end of the day, those compliments also create a positive feedback loop that we'll talk about in a second. So again, consider giving a compliment. When you guys leave today, just find someone and give them a compliment. Practice positive affirmations before socializing, because again, at the end of the day, you're gonna kind of attract the energy that you're putting out there. Aw, Alyssa, so sweet. She is happy we're all here and that the world is a better place with us in it. Darn right. So again, it's important to recognize at the end of all of it, who you're giving your energy to, right? Is it the negative Nancy, or is it the positive Polly, or someone in between? But at the end of the day, it's your energy, it's limited resource. And again, just be aware of what type of energy you're getting back, right? So if you're constantly giving out, nobody's refilling your glass, make sure that you have that nice balance. Okay, so that's my favorite, most important slide. Protect your energy because no one else will. And now you can go back to living in the future and in the past, if that's what you were up to. So next tip is fill your glass, not with wine, silly, but I mean, if you did, who would be too mad, right? So remember the good old fashioned saying, right? Keep your glass half full, right? Is your glass half full? So, not to be dramatic, but you don't want to picture disaster scenarios, right? But so if you're constantly dwelling on the worst thing that can happen, again, that's what you may tend to attract, right? So we all know it. Maybe it's like, I'm in a play, I'm in a school play, and I know all my lines. I know all my lines. Like I am set. I've been rehearsing for months. You can't tell me anything, except I can tell me something. Don't forget your lines. Don't forget your lines. Don't forget your lines. You get up there, you're like, don't forget my lines. Don't forget my lines. Don't forget my lines. What happens? Yeah, you forgot your lines. So again, that self-talk could look something different. It could look like, your lines, girl, you've got this, no worries. I've been working hard. I've got it. I'm not going to forget, And so then again, changing that self-narrative can help change that outcome. So again, that's what we mean by like, don't picture these disaster scenarios. And then picture yourself achieving whatever it is that you want, whether it be from life, from the day, or even from a task at hand, because that can change your outcome because it changes your attitude during the process, right? So picture yourself achieving whatever it is that you want from life or from that day or from that task, because that can change your outcome, the outcome of the task, because it changes your attitude during the process. Example, you have a presentation for work. Ooh, fun. I know, right? It's probably not exactly something that you want to be doing. It might not even be that enjoyable to you, but we know we have to do it, right? So glass half empty. Oh, why did my boss make me do this presentation? This is going to take forever. There's other things I can be doing. That negativity is probably going to reflect in your work. And because of that, you may not create the best version of your work, right? So same thing if you personal life, okay, you know the dinner needs to be cooked, you know the house needs clean, you know them kids need help with that homework, and it's probably getting harder as the kids get older. But either way, regardless, you know you have to deliver these tasks, right? So glass half empty. Oh, I gotta make dinner, I gotta clean the house, I gotta help with these kids. I just want to go home and do me tonight. And that's fine. That's a realistic want. But again, since we know we have to make dinner, it could look something like, I saw this recipe online and it's really healthy and hearty, and I think the family's gonna like it. The house needs sprucing up before tomorrow. Well, this is perfect. I'm only about 200 steps away from my step goal. I can get the extra steps in. Or the kids are going to need help with homework tonight. But this is great because I get to spend some time with them. They're growing up so fast, all that good stuff. So again, just consider that the energy that you put into whatever task or project or activity that you're doing can affect that outcome, and so we want that outcome to be a little more on the positive side if we can help it. So anyway, picture yourself achieving whatever it is you want from life, and focus on those positives and remind yourself that you can deal with that situation, right? And so again, the law of attraction is kind of the belief that the positive or negative thoughts bring the positive or negative experiences into a person's life. So the movie or the book, The Secret, right? And I just saw it on Netflix. It's still running, or they've got it back up and running. I think it's like it's not long, it's under an hour. The book's super short too, but just something to watch maybe if you're scrolling on Netflix, you don't want to watch anything anyway, so might as well make it something a little bit self-helpy, right? So the Secret, it's back on Netflix. Check it out. It's like that early 2000s movie show. Well, now it's a kind of like just an episode, but anyway, something to consider should you be perusing Netflix. All right, moving on. Share your positivity with others, right? So don't be a hog, right? We learned this in kindergarten. When you're nice to people, they're typically nice back, right? Typically. I don't know. So in turn, this creates that positive feedback loop, right? So the more positive feelings in you, this can encourage you to share your positivity with others, and it kind of radiates out. So again, giving those compliments, right? We're in a world where we're so connected that sometimes we're disconnected. If you've ever seen someone on the street and you're like, oh, that's a tight work outfit, like go and say, hey, I really like your outfit, let them know, versus giving those compliments in your head. Try to verbalize them, because again, everyone likes a compliment. And because of that, you're going to feel better about yourself giving it. They're going to feel better about getting it. They may go give a compliment to someone else. So again, creating that feedback loop. So again, these little gestures make the giver feel good, the receiver feel good, and can assist us in just becoming a little more of a positive person. So again, when you leave here today, walk up to the first thing smoking and say, hey, and just throw a compliment out there. I mean, make it genuine, but again, consider giving that compliment. Yeah, and that's right. I'll say it costs nothing, but it goes a long way. And again, we're at this point where it's like we're just on our phones, and we're so like, it's so weird to just walk up and tell someone like, hey, I really like your hair. They're probably like, creep. No, just kidding. Okay. Next tip, maintaining a positive attitude. Or first one, have a morning routine. Oh my God, have a morning routine. I know, right? You're like, duh, I wake up, I have my coffee, I'm late to work. No, if you start your day off on the right foot, this sets the stage for the rest of your day. So what does that mean? So be organized, be efficient, and more importantly, give yourself enough time. Meaning, leave the snooze button alone should you dare choose to, right? I mean, unless you're like the professional snoozers, which we do know them. But if you can, give yourself just 5-10 more minutes, because allowing yourself just 10 extra minutes in the morning can provide you with enough time, enough cushion time to not feel stressed. What? Giving yourself just 10 extra minutes in the morning can give yourself enough cushion time to not feel stressed. I don't know about you, but that is priceless. I mean, I say this as like, I was definitely late, but regardless, giving yourself that 10 extra minutes, it's something that money can't buy. It sets you up for a not stressful morning, which can set up the tone of the rest of the day. So again, just consider that, right? 10 extra minutes. Is 10 extra minutes of sleep going to make or break you? Yeah, it technically depends on what sleep stage you wake up in. It might be a little harder. Carry an attitude of happiness with you. So the idea is, instead of waiting for someone or something to make you happy, find what intrinsically makes you happy and watch how that can influence things that go on around you. So we say, think of happiness as an attitude, not a situation. So I'm going to say that again. The idea is to not wait for someone or something to make you happy, but see if you can figure out what intrinsically makes you happy and watch how that influences things that go on around you. And look, you guys, those people, right? Life could have thrown them every curveball, everything, right? Those people, it's like, whew, they are resilient. They have had more things happen to them, but here they are. They're usually like the happiest one in the room, the most energetic, the most positive one in the room. And you kind of look and go, how, right? But they figured out that it's not the situation, it's not a person or something that makes them happy. They find it within them. Resiliency, for sure. And lastly, consider uploading some positivity to your brain, right? Because let's face it, y'all are uploading everything else. I see you on TikTok and Instagram and all that. So if you're going to be on that uploading, a lot of times it's just garbage, but it's addicting and I do it too. So guilty. Maybe consider uploading a positive book that has a positive message, right? Listening to music with the uplifting lyrics, right? Maybe a feel-good podcast, something like that. So again, something to consider, especially since with everything going on right now, it's just constantly kind of a negative flow that we've got. Oh, shoot, 2 minutes. All right, moving on. Maintain a positive attitude, have a Zen-like attitude, right? So I always say, think of life as something that's happening for you and not to you, right? Because there's a lot of people who don't have the opportunity to wake up and experience life, right? So don't walk through life feeling like a victim, because the fact is like you get to live life. So again, there's a lot of people who don't have that opportunity or who don't have the opportunity to get up and get out of bed, right? So again, think of life as something that's happening for you and not to you. Be proactive. Proactive people decide how they will feel regardless of what may be going on around them, while reactive people allow for those others, right, to influence or determine how they feel. So proactive people decide how they're going to feel and how they're going to react, while reactive people determine or allow for external events or people to determine how they feel. So again, proactive versus reactive. Let's be proactive, and have a purpose. How? Good question. Set goals, short-term, long-term, in-between term. It helps you remain focused, and focus people achieve more, and people who achieve more feel happy. So there you go. Help you maintain that positive attitude, and don't expect life to be so easy, because we know right now it's not. Life ain't fair, and that's just how it is, right? It's just not. So roll with those punches, adapt to change, because change is the one thing that's promised. And change does bring out a sense of stress, but when we adapt to that change, we, lose that stress. So again, roll with those punches. And no matter how much we'd like for change not to happen, no, it's going to happen. That's literally the only thing that's promised is change. Wow. And then again, stop expecting life to be so easy. Okay, we've got one more slide, and I am I don't even have a watch on. I don't know why I pretended to look. Play the hand you were dealt, right? So again, stop looking and comparing yourself to other people. This is really hard because social media, you know what they put up, the best of the best. They didn't wake up like that, even though they said they did. You know, they're not going to air out all their dirty laundry and how stressed they are and, you know, their issues. They're going to throw up the best of the best. So it's hard to look at people's, you know, what they present and compare it to your life and say, man, mine's not that great. What's going on? Don't worry, just know that they're faking the funk. So with that said, you know, try shifting your perspective about a situation that may not be ideal that you're going through, right? Maybe offer a possible solution, or maybe it requires acceptance, and there's nothing you can do to change that situation. But again, just complaining about it tends to foster that unnecessary negativity, right? And in that regard, develop an attitude of curiosity, be open to learn from all situations, right? They might not be good, but again, that's the hand you were dealt. It wasn't the greatest, but you can ask yourself, did I learn anything from this? Or about yourself in that moment or moments? And if so, is this a teachable moment? And can you apply this kind of crappy situation to future situations just in case? So again, try to grab something from it, learn something from it. And lastly, the power of humor. Why so serious? Maybe laugh a little laughter can instantly lift the mood and enhance your emotional state. So I'm gonna end with a joke, and it's gonna be so stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What did the duck say when it bought lipstick? Yep, we're going there. Come on, you guys. What did the duck say when it bought lipstick?
Put it on my bill.
Who said that?
I did. This is Dina.
All right. Go, Dina. There you go. Put it on my bill. All right.
You got to watch Blast from the Past. There's a longer version of that.
All right. Perfect. All right. So you know how hard it is to find like an HR appropriate joke, by the way? Like, basically impossible. Okay, so then again, here I'm just gonna leave it on the screen, just some random acts of kindness you can do today, right? It doesn't take like planning and all this. You can literally do a few of these things today, in addition to, of course, walking out and giving that next person that compliment. All right, I am sorry I kind of maybe went over. Well, yeah, thank you guys, and I hope that positivity rains down upon you. And I will turn it over to Alyssa. Oh, thank you. Oh, see, thank you, Chow. I love that compliment. I think you're amazing too. All right, take care, you guys. Oh my God, my head's so big now. And Alyssa, sometimes I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you. That was just so much good stuff. We'll make sure that you all get all of the slides after if you weren't able to take notes, but there's so much good stuff in there, and I'm hoping that you're feeling inspired and not overwhelmed. I think sometimes when we're given lots of strategies to help change our mood or our day-to-day routines, it feels like one more thing to do, and we already have so much to do that can get kind of overwhelming. So I'm hoping that you're feeling really excited. Nicole's just such a fun, relatable, down to earth presenter. So I hope that you're feeling good. We'll make sure you get all those slides. So maybe, you can take one slide per week or one slide per month for the rest of the year and really focus on some of those recommendations and those strategies. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. My brain is just still processing. I'm just in such a good mood right now. Okay. How's everyone else doing? We're okay? Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to do, and actually I shouldn't have shared my screen because I need to drop this into the chat. I wanted us to do some thank you cards. So as Nicole said, and you all agreed, paying compliments, thanking strangers, all of those things make them feel good and they make us feel good. So I wanted us to take a couple of minutes as a group to fill out some thank you cards. My suggestions, if you have a printer or actually print some out and maybe mail them to friends or relatives that you haven't spoken to in a while, or embed them in an email and send them to friends, family, or coworkers. So I'm going to drop the PDFs into the chat. I think I can do that. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Connect to OneDrive. That's not what I want. Give me one moment, everyone.
If you have a Google Drive link, I see that as an option. There's also Box or Dropbox.
Let's see. It's having me sign into Zoom all over again. I can't quite figure out how to connect my work OneDrive with this meeting. Okay, let me see if I can put it in my Google Drive. One moment, everyone. All right, while I'm trying to figure this out, does anyone have any questions about what we've talked about so far? Either practicing 3 good things, loving kindness meditation, or all of the many tips and tricks that Nicole gave us during the cultivating positivity presentation. Okay, I think I'm figuring it out. Seriously, I'm the least tech savvy person that I know. And yet I use all these products all day, every day for work. You'd think I would be getting better at it, right? But I just have to laugh. Okay, I think I figured it out. I feel like we cannot get Zoom hooked up to my Google Drive. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, did that work? Yay, it worked. Okay, do you all see that first one? Let me add 3 more.
It's working for me. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we have 4 versions of thank you cards. And I ate up a couple minutes trying to get them in there. I'm so sorry. But hopefully you'll have enough time to at least save them and work on them later. Okay, perfect. So you should have the 4 in the chat. And then hopefully it allows you to download them. They're PDF. We have a subscription to Canva, which is where we make a lot of our marketing materials and thank you cards that we use at the county throughout the year. And it said that PDFs were the easiest to embed in email. So that was the version that I gave you all. I hope that's true and that it's helpful. So I'll give you a couple minutes to download all of them. And then if we run out of time to do it as a group, send an email or print and prepare something to go in snail mail, then hopefully you'll do it after today's meeting, because I do want us to have time to do our mindful walk. For time's sake, I'll give you a couple options. Normally I recommend dropping everything, switching the meeting to your phone and walking outdoors. Sunlight has a pretty powerful effect. Vitamin D, we call kind of our, the sunshine vitamin, but it's kind of like our happy hormone or happy vitamin because it can help boost mood. So typically I'll tell people to go outside and go for a walk. But if you have a meeting right after this and you're already starting to get that stress response of what you have to do the second we're done, then I will tell you just walk around your office or walk around your house. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 more minute to download all of the thank you cards and work on them right now if you like. And then I want to save us about 10 minutes to go for our mindful walk. So a couple of notes that I just want to touch on after Nicole shared so much incredible information with us. There's this sect of this branch of therapy called music therapy, and it's all about trying to create certain emotions with certain songs. Oftentimes it's songs linked to our childhood and things like that. I think all of us can do a sort of non-clinical version of music therapy on ourselves by being very deliberate in our choices. So if you're having a really hard day, I always suggest one of 2 things. Either putting on the loudest, most upbeat and happy music you can possibly find. And I like to think of the song Happy by Pharrell as one of those like default go-to songs. There's also that Justin Timberlake one that was in the movie Trolls. I can't think of it. But there are some just really feel-good songs that came out in the last few years that I think can help boost our mood. But I also think that if you're someone who doesn't allow yourself to go into a space where you cry, you're just like a really guarded person, or you just feel like you don't have time for that, you're just not a crier. I think sometimes it's actually helpful to do the opposite and put on a couple of really dark, really depressing songs to purge yourself of those emotions. So I definitely alternate. That's been a great strategy for me. Most of the time, I try to keep it positive. And then sometimes I'm just depressed because there's a lot going on in the world, or I'm frustrated with something, or I'm disappointed in something I did recently. And I don't want to dwell on that and have it become this downward spiral into more chronic or clinical depression. So I'll put on the dark music, cry it out, scream it out, dance around the house, whatever, climb a little ball in the blanket and have my moment of hiding from the world. And I do a time limit. You have to set a time limit, but I'll do a time limit, 3 songs, 4 songs, move on. So that can also be super helpful. And then the other things that she's talking about, kind of fake it till you make it. It's the same thing with this practicing an attitude of gratitude. It is super effective. I cannot tell you how grating it was when in my youth, because I had a lot of issues with depression and anxiety, when someone would like, oh, just fake it, just slap a smile on your face, it'll make you feel better. Or, oh, just wake up in the morning and choose to be happy. Like, oh yeah, it's just so easy to wake up in the morning and choose to be happy. Like, I hadn't thought about that. It really, really does work. So even if everything in you is bristling at that suggestion, I want you to promise yourself that you'll try it, that you really will. Slap a smile on your face when everything in you wants to do the complete opposite. When you're telling yourself in this moment, whatever you're telling yourself, there's too much going on, I don't deserve to be happy. I feel like a lot of us have a hard time allowing ourselves to be healthy and happy during dark and stressful times. So really telling yourself, I'm allowed to smile no matter what hard thing is coming at me in my day, my week, my month, my year, my last 5 years. I'm allowed to have a smile. I'm allowed to have a positive interaction. I'm allowed to have a positive outlook. Giving yourself permission and being patient with yourself and faking it till you make it, as Nicole and I have been drilling into all of you throughout this meeting, is going to have long-term, hopefully permanent, semi-permanent effects with enough practice. Okay, so we're going to go into our mindful walk. And I'm going to actually turn my camera off for a moment. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, I hope. Okay. So I'm going to give you a moment. And then if you have to right at 3:30, no judgment. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you taking time to work on improving your mood and just taking this time to do a little bit of self-care and give you time and attention as you do for others. So no judgment if you're going to leave at 3:30, but if you can stay for the next 10 minutes, that would be awesome too. So I want you to go ahead and get up. I'm going to get up with you. And the first thing I want us to do as we're going for our walk is I want us to take a moment to just be grateful for our legs. Just be grateful for your legs. Be grateful for the ability to go for a walk. If you're someone who's struggling with mobility issues or you don't typically walk, you can do some arm movements instead. If you already have an upper body ergometer or an arm bike at home, you can use that instead. And just be grateful for your arms. Be grateful for our lungs. Be grateful for the freedom to walk around. We have bodily autonomy in this moment. We are making choices about where our feet are taking us. We're taking nice deep breaths. We're pumping our muscles. Maybe while you're walking, you're rolling your shoulders back a little bit. You're shaking out any tension and stress out of your hands, your shoulders. Maybe gently rolling your head into half circles, releasing any tension from your neck. And then if you're able to step outside for a moment, and I'll give you some time to grab your stuff and go right out the door. Let's take a moment to be grateful for fresh air, grateful for whatever you see around you. At County Center, we've got, a lot of buildings and a lot of cars. And so I have to really go out of my way to look and find a tree, maybe a bird, maybe a blade of grass coming up through the cracks in the sidewalk. Taking a mindful moment, so really being right there in your walk and looking for nature. Connecting to nature tends to also be really powerful for improving our mood. If you're in your office or your house, I want you to just look at things that you feel connected to. Maybe it's a photograph. Maybe it's some sort of favorite decoration that you were able to bring into your workspace. If you're walking around your house right now, maybe it's a favorite pillow, it's a pet. So just taking a moment to observe our surroundings and say a little thank you for our surroundings. And then as we continue to walk around, I want us to take a moment to be grateful, to just zoom out and think about the whole experience. Being grateful that we're here with each other, that we have this opportunity to do a guided mindful walk, that we have this opportunity for stress reduction, social connection, self-care. Being grateful that we woke up this morning, that we made it to almost 3:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. Being grateful for everything around you, living and non-living, the shelter that we have in our office or our home. And again, the air, the bugs, the birds, the trees, the stoplights, the honking horns, the blood pumping through our body. And as we take our next few steps, I want us to really think about our body. So I want us to bring our attention inward a little bit and think about what kind of breath are we taking when we walk? Are we going through a rushed walk? Are we trying to get this walk over with? And we're breathing very quick and shallow up high in our ribs. And can we slow it down a little bit? Can we lengthen our steps? Can we practice going heel to toe with every step, stretching out the arches and our toes? And we go heel to toe. And on our next step, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. Really stretching through our body as we take each step. Using the strength in our feet, our arches, our calves, using our balance. Taking deep belly breaths as we walk. Feeding our body with lots of oxygen. And then see if we can lengthen our stride. So taking a bigger step. And if you're in the house, like really take a big monster step because you know nobody's looking at you. So take a big monster step. See if we can stretch out the front of our hips, our thighs, our hamstrings, our glutes. Taking long, big steps, stretching out all the muscles in our body. And just taking a moment to appreciate all of those muscles. Maybe some of them are tight. Maybe we've been doing too much sitting recently. Maybe this feels so good. We're going to do a walk tomorrow on our lunch break or when we first wake up in the morning or before we go to bed. So big monster steps. So now that we've stretched through our arches and our toes, our calves, our thighs, our hips, we're taking longer steps. Let's try to slow down the pace of our walk a little bit more. You can come into sort of a more natural stride or gait. And now that you're taking nice, slow, relaxed steps, let's try to slow down our breathing. While we're doing our exercise, are we able to pull your breath deep down into your belly? And without closing your eyes, because I don't want you to trip while you're walking. Without closing your eyes, can you visualize pulling that breath deep down into the bottom of the lungs, filling up the lungs with fresh oxygen and carrying it all the way down to your toes, feeding your muscles, feeding your body with nice fresh air. And then on your next deep belly breath, can you visualize pulling that air all the way down deep into your lungs and out through your fingertips, bringing it up to the center of the chest and straight out both arms all the way to the fingertips. So walking at a natural, comfortable pace, heel to toe, nice and slow. And in our next deep belly breath, I want you to think about drawing that oxygen deep into your lungs and then carrying it all the way up through the throat, refreshing and relaxing the throat and any tension we may be feeling there, and all the way up into our mind, bringing a fresh breath into the mind, refreshing our creativity, waking us up, bringing any feelings of positivity and gratitude that we were able to cultivate during this meeting up into our mind, bringing a lightness into our jaw, into our ears, into our eyes. Take one more minute to think about all the feelings that you're having right here in the present moment in your body. Grateful for our legs, grateful for our lungs, grateful for a good stretch, grateful for time to walk, grateful for control over our body, grateful for our surroundings, whether we made it outdoors and we're getting some sunshine and fresh air and trees, or we're indoors with all of our favorite things. Just taking another moment to be thankful for everything around us and for this moment and this time together. Good. Okay, if you're out and about, you may want to slowly make your way back to your original position. I don't know about you, but I really needed to get up. My legs are falling asleep. Okay. So that is it for today. There are some more resources. There's a Random Acts of Kindness website that has recommendations to do a thank you card, send a kind text or a kind email. There are many different suggestions on there. They recommend doing one a day. As I said, I know this is a really overwhelming time for a lot of people. So maybe committing to one random act of kindness per day isn't realistic, but one per week or one per month can really help you feel good about yourself in what you're doing. And then there are some more videos on mindful walking and loving kindness meditation. And then I linked to the Greater Good Science Center through UC Berkeley. They had an article on achieving flow at work. Because as we kind of found out at the beginning of this meeting, sometimes it's hard to come up with 3 good things. And a lot of that has to do with your environment in the moment. If you're feeling very overwhelmed by your work environment, workload has gone up recently, maybe you're having some issues with your supervisor or coworkers, it's very difficult to kind of focus on things that are going right instead of wrong. And so this article really talks about how to get fulfillment and positivity from your work and how to achieve that state of flow, which is really cool, but sometimes can feel elusive. All right.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. This was very relaxing, and these resources are incredible.
Good, I'm glad to.
Thank you all for coming. Alyssa, thank you so much for leading us through another wonderful session. I'll be sending out a follow-up email with some of these resources. So be on the lookout for that. And I hope many of you can join us for the next one.